everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood. The Masters Online Qualifier workouts have been announced today. There's nothing really out of left field here, but these are absolutely going to get the job done.
It makes sense, right? We're attempting to send athletes to the CrossFit Games. All the tests are beautiful, classic CrossFit. If you've been doing the workouts and training that you should be, you're going to be just fine.
I like these so much. I think I'm going to do these workouts this weekend.
You are a crazy man.
See if I can maybe, make the games in the 55 to 59 division.
Yeah,
We shall see.
That would actually be a really good goal. 4 total workouts, and we will start with some calorie rowing and some thrusters. Number 2 is simple, 1 rep max deadlift. The third workout, a 15-minute Amrap with double unders, chest to bar pull-ups, and hang power cleans. And then finally, for time, bar-facing burpees, overhead squats, and muscle-ups. There is a time cap and a minimum work requirement on this one. We're going to break them all down right now. Let's start with that first one. Calorie rowing and thrusters, 21:15:9. You look at this and you think, okay, find the sweet spot.
Anything with thrusters, it just warms
You
my
love that
heart.
stuff.
Now, a simple little couplet, what could go wrong? Correct me if I'm wrong. You can't row too slow, but you can row too fast.
That is a fact.
That would be my only thing to say in this. You could row that 21 calories so hard and take yourself out of commission, so find a very intelligent pace in the rower.
It's the same thruster weight as Fran. Most of these athletes can do Fran unbroken, so the thrusters doing those unbroken won't be a problem. Like you said, finding the sweet spot. I think when all said and done, we might see some athletes in the 310 to 330 range,
Wow.
which is cooking.
Cooking, yeah.
Event number 2 is simple. We're going to go heavy and find out how much weight you can pull off the ground. It is a 1 rep max deadlift. Obviously not a whole lot of strategy here, but what kind of numbers do you think we could see at the top end of this thing?
Top end, I think it's very safe to say north of 500. I know you shook out some actual hardcore stats. Will it be much more than that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a handful of athletes that have 555 plus, the triple nickel club. Some 565 athletes. On the women's side, we have a couple athletes that are north of 315, 323. Yeah. Helen Harding has a 319. So
Helen Harding,
I love
man.
this lift. We haven't tested 1 rep max deadlift since 2009 with the deadlift ladder. So we're going to see some Masters athletes lift weights that could clear that ladder, which some of the top games athletes couldn't.
up.
Right, and that's the crazy thing is we're talking about numbers here that 4 or 5 years ago would have been unthinkable for Masters athletes.
That's just the evolution of this, not just the sport, but the upper echelon, the Masters. I mean, the numbers and times they're going to put up, I challenge most of you to go out there and try to match them.
Third event, 15-minute AMRAP, and it starts with 55 double unders, then 15 chest to bar pull-ups, and then 5 hang power cleans, 155 for the men, 105 for the women as the ages increase. Of course, there are some modifications there. Make sure you go to the game site to find out what the workout is for your specific age group. But in this one, it's right in the middle. It's those chest to bar pull-ups, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so. If you look at, we had Pat, you timed this out earlier when we were
Did the whole thing, crushed it.
He did a full round. Granted, you didn't have an actual barbell or a pull-up rig.
Air worked out.
Yeah, and you timed out a round at about 50 seconds. So 50 seconds a round, if you can hold that, that's obviously insane. But for an athlete to get north of 10 rounds, I think is expected. That's about 1:30 a round.
That'd be a good score.
And again, you're just mitigating damage on the grip with the chest to bar pull-ups and being able to hold on to those 5 hang power cleans, and then double unders, just don't mess up.
Those chest to bars just jump out at me. Sets of 15 are going to get so old so fast. No pun intended. But depending
Why'd you
upon
look at me when you said that?
depending upon if that's your wheelhouse or not, sets of 15 are not for me. I would break those things up from the get-go and try to be smart over the long haul.
All right, finally, number 4. For time, but there is a time cap on this one. We'll get to that in a second. 55 bar-facing burpees, then 34 overhead squats, 95 pounds for the men, 65 pounds for the women, and then finally 21 muscle-ups. A 20-minute time cap, and the minimum work requirement here is 7 muscle-ups. And when you look at this one on paper, there's just interference all over the place.
I think that's it. It's such a dirty, nasty, beautiful workout all at once. So this will be the one that will probably get a lot of Masters' attention because it has the dreaded ring muscle up in it, and it has 21 at the very end. And the burpees, they tax the shoulders and triceps. The overhead squat is going to tax the shoulders and triceps. Then at the very end, you're going to have to perform this complicated movement, and there's a minimum work requirement. this is a workout to be very cautious with.
We've seen these 3 movements in combination before in competition. Actually, if you remember, 11.4, was bar facing burpees, overhead squats, and only 10 ring muscle ups. And I believe there was a 10-minute time cap. We saw athletes blow through a full round and get some extra work on the barbell after those burpees. So we could see some athletes kind of light this one on fire, especially with how much the Masters category has improved in muscle ups. That showcased that at Amanda last year.
All the athletes have until Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific time to do these. If you were going to do these and try to qualify over a weekend, in what order would you do them?
So my strategy is based off being able to do them multiple times. So I would start Friday morning. I would, have a nice breakfast, maybe a protein pancake or some coffee.
Lucky Charms.
That morning, I would hit event number 4. It's the most complex with the ring muscle ups, especially if that's a problem. I want to make sure I hit that fresh, get that out of the way, maybe learn something from that. Rest during the day. That Friday, I'm actually going to do a double. So I'm going to do event 1, which is the thruster and row, really just lung burner, stomp the gas pedal. That should get you warmed up for the 1 rep max deadlift. And I'll test the deadlift there. I may not go all out. I'll just get the barbell in my hands, see how it feels. Saturday, I'll do event 3 with the chest to bar pull-ups. That's the only time I'm going to do that. If you do 7 rounds of that workout, you're doing over 100 chest to bar pull-ups. That's not necessarily something that most masters can repeat. So I want to make sure that's the only time I do it. Sunday, active recovery, maybe walk through some strategy. Monday, depending on which workout I'm not happy with, 4 or 1, I'll retest that. And if possible, maybe do the deadlift again.
All right, Pat, now you would put together a strategy based on maybe just doing these things one time. How would that look?
Yeah, I said that earlier and then I rethought it and I don't like it anymore. I think the retest is a solid plan. I like what you have, and I would try to do all 4 almost in the exact same order, but I would do my best to have Sunday as that full rest. I think that's a very, very intelligent play. Your body's going to feel good. You're going to have walked through everything, and if you're happy with your scores, I would also do that. The row thruster would be the last thing I do Saturday evening, so I'd knock them all out if I could. Sunday, fully rest, recover, feel good. Monday, get up. And if you're happy with your scores, just start the week. If not, you can go retest with a little, more intelligence as to how to have a better strategy.
Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is we're talking about masters doing doubles multiple days in a row, retesting workouts, maybe even getting 6-7 workouts in a 3-4 day time span. A couple of years ago, that was unheard of.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Monday, 5 p.m. Pacific time is when you need to get your scores in. Remember, go to the game site, read all about these because there are some modifications for some of the other age groups after you get past 50 to 54. Some of the weights change and some of the movements as well. Make sure you have that dialed in. Get those scores in. Good luck to everybody. For Pat Sherwood and Tommy Marquez, I'm Sean Woodland. We'll see you back here next week for all the results.